Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Today I'll be reviewing a FineArt game that was played on FoxGo server a few days ago. I think maybe a week ago. FineArt is playing Xu Yuqi. Now I don't know much about the black player. I do know that they're a Taiwanese professional though, so yeah, let's go into it. The reason why I want to look at this game is FineArt once again plays a very unorthodox move in the opening, so that's always a treat. But also, there's a situation that comes up on the board that is very strange, and we'll see that, and I'll go over it. Yeah, so yeah, now let's go into it. White plays large corner enclosure, popularized by AIs. Black approaches immediately, looking at this attachment on the 4/4 spot. White approaches, and then approaches. Again, this is a trend I see in FineArt games, is that it always likes to try to approach make an exchange in this corner, and then make an exchange in this corner, and tries to jump around the board, as opposed to, trying to play all its stones and like build a giant moyo that way. Black attaches, getting the follow-up for this move, and white just descends at the 3/3 spot. So this sort of situation came up in the last FineArt game I reviewed against Choi Zhong. If you haven't seen that, I would check it out. It was a very blood-filled game. So usually white wants to Hane here or Hane here. But in this case, black will cut or black will double Hane. And each case will become the same thing. And black is able to play like the cut here because of this ladder. This ladder goes to this stone. Again, I actually mentioned this in the last review as well. If you have a ladder situation that spans the whole board, what you can do is, we can see that this black stone that's getting laddered is on the 4/4 spot, or on the start point. Wherever it is relative to the start point, you can move it to the tengen. So since it's on the start point, we can just when we read it, we can just assume that the ladder starts from tengen. So starting from here, we would go up, left, up, left. So from tengen, we would go up, left, and that basically cuts out the reading that it would take on this side of the board. So it actually cuts the reading in half. So wherever if the stone that's getting laddered is like to the left of the start point in the corner, then we would read it to the left of the spot on the tengen. So that's a little ladder reading shortcut you can do. It works in all the corners. Yeah, so because of this ladder, this fight can be pretty difficult. Not that it's impossible, like white can just connect this way, and it'd be pretty peaceful, but yeah, in this case, because of the ladder, white just descends. Now if black descends down, then it would become the same as if white haned and then black descended and then white descended. So instead, black jumps and then white turns, again keeping all of white stones connected. And then black kicks and then pincers. So the point of the bottom right exchanges is, if black hadn't made these exchanges and just kicked immediately and pincered, it would give white the option to pincer directly. But because black already has these stones on the board, we can see that if white tries to pincer directly, because black already has these stones on the board, instead of being a counter extension from white's corner, it would actually be like an invasion, and like the stone could be under attack. So I think this is a very nice sequence for black. But of course, FineArt just tries to get all over the board, right? It approached this corner and then left it. It approached this corner, left it, and now it's approaching this corner. So black kicks and then jumps. So this is very common nowadays. The reason why you see a lot of these kicks is because this move is considered pretty annoying for black. It's pretty hard to answer this move. So to prevent that, they kick and then jump. And then this is when the peculiar move FineArt played in the opening is white played here. Which, as I said, is very strange, because if white wanted to do anything here, we could expect white to play here because it has more effect on the corner. Yeah, like it has a direct, like if black pincers, white can come into black's corner. But when white goes here and let's say black pincers or does something, it's not really clear how white can come into the corner, right? Like, is white going to do this? Well, that just kind of helps black. So it's actually kind of limiting the options white has, because when white plays low, white can slide into the corner, white can jump, or even white can make an extension. So if black takes one of them, white can has two other options to take to help this white stone. But when it's here, it really can only run out and then come this way. It is true that it might be putting more pressure on this stone, but I don't think that's, like, it's pretty far away to really have much effect on this stone. So black agrees, and black just pincers up top. Like, white could have just built this side, and maybe something like this could have happened. But white decided to go here. And then white pincers, black jumps, and then white plays this move, which when I first saw this move, I was like, okay, that's like by itself, it's a normal move. Like if white hadn't made this exchange, let's say did this, and then immediately did that, this is considered normal nowadays. I've never seen it with this exchange first, though. So this is a very strange move. Now, the point of this move is it's actually looking at the 3-3 spot. So, of course, if black splits, this is kind of what white is baiting black into, is that white will take the 3-3. And there's a lot of choices here. Lots of variations, but all of them are good for white. So if black just descends, white will descend, and white scoops out all the points in the corner. Or even white might peep, right? Either way, white's alive in the corner. So black would like to play a little more aggressively, so black could block. If white hanes directly, black can pincer, and white's pretty low here. It's not too great for white. However, white can go here first. If black tries to go here and then cut here, we can see that because of the stone here, black cannot actually capture this stone this way, right? Because when white turns, because of this stone, black cannot actually capture these stones. And white would win the semi between these stones and these stones. And if black just goes here, of course, this corner is huge, and this stone is isolated. But of course, black can go this side, and this result is kind of subpar for white. White really didn't gain much with this exchange. So that's why. So this move actually is not good for white. The move white should play, and this, right? So this move isn't good, and this move isn't good. White should play this move, which looks like a strange move, doesn't it? Like it's not intuitive. But white can play this move. So of course, if black connects, white will connect. And again, because of this stone, even if black tries to cut on this side, and take the cornerstones, black cannot capture these stones because of this stone. So black has to go this way, but white would win this semi-eye. Okay, well, what if black cuts on the other side? Well, even if white just takes this stone and then connects, again, this corner is pretty huge, and these stones are still have a ton of aji. So that wouldn't be good. So black can come down, but then white can come down. And if black just connects, white can connect. And again, white's corner is pretty good, and again, these stones still have a ton of aji. If black tries to cut first and squeeze, it actually doesn't change much, because and black would like to go here and kind of force white to live small, but actually white can cut and then squeeze here. And we can see that this result would be very bad for black. So black can't actually play from this side, at least not this move. So black needs to go there, and then white's already alive actually. So white could actually change its what white wants to do. Yeah. Or even if white wants to make this exchange. White scooped out the corner and has the outside, so black doesn't really get much here. Black might think that black can squeeze out a little extra by playing the Tombstone Teisuji, and now white's shape is much worse. However, when black descends, white can actually connect. So black needs to take, but then white can cut, threatening these stones, so black needs to turn, but then white can Atari here. And you can see black needs to capture, but then white can Atari. And black cannot save these two stones. So black needs to cut, white can take, and yeah, this result would be pretty bad for black because all of white's stones are connected. So, bottom line, this move is kind of wanting black to go here. So, black can prevent this move, right? If black had gone here, or even here. But this would be pretty good for white, right? Because it isolates this stone, and the corner is still open. So black doesn't want to make that exchange. So this is where I think FineArt played this move instead. It's because when white plays low like this, black can play this move. And can prevent that kind of dive that white did in the game in Sente. So that's the only guess I have. Notice when white plays high like this, if black tries to play the same move, white does not owe a response, or black's follow-up is not as severe, right? So if white goes elsewhere, the best black can do is just crawl. But if white plays low and then black kicks and white ignores, black can then hane here, and it's much stronger. So white played this high move, I think, because it knew that black could not prevent this dive that white did. Where did white go? Black cannot prevent this move in Sente. Whereas if white played low, black can prevent the move in Sente. This would probably be Sente. Yeah. That's my only guess. If you have other ideas, please actually put them in the comments. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this move. Yeah, this move is pretty. I tried dissecting it and trying to understand it, but even still, it's kind of mind blowing. Yeah. So let's get back to the game. So because of all those moves and sequences and all that, black plays this move. White Hanes, and then Ataris. We can see that like this move becomes a pretty bad exchange. However, there's not really much else black can do. Like if black goes here, white can still do an Atari here. But you can see that because of having this move later, let's say white gets that move, black's not alive in the corner, potentially. So there's no real, then if black goes here, white can prevent it by going here. If black tries to play something like this, black would let white connect, and so I think this is the best response. Hane, even though it does make this stone look pretty pretty bad. It's an empty triangle now, but still. So now white plays a loose connection here. Yeah. Black pincers first. Black trying to cut this directly probably would not end well. Black has this weak group, these two stones, and then this group up here, or this stone up here, whereas white only has these stones and these stones. So I think that's why black didn't immediately come up. Black pincers first, white kicks, and then black jumps. So this is a very nice move to know, is if your opponent kicks your stone, and you have a stone like a one space jump below, you can jump. And the point of the jump is that if they Hane, which is kind of like what the kick is trying to get, is this Hane, is that you can block, and if they Atari, you can set up this Ko. And this is going to keep your stones light. Like directly if white connects, well, that's already a gain for you. Like black could just go elsewhere. But even if white takes, you can still go elsewhere. Because for white to try to win this Ko, you can see that, right, if white plays a Ko threat, I don't know, something. For white to lose the Ko, because of the one space jump black played initially, this one here, is that it's putting this stone white in Atari. So, yeah, it'd be pretty heavy for white to win this Ko, and it would keep black light. And if white, let's say, just connects instead, black could even still just come out this way, and you can see, even though white can cut here later, black's shape is still light. So, yeah, whenever you have this stone here, always look for the one space jump as opposed to just standing up. So now white protects because black strengthens this side, so now white connects. And making this exchange is important because if white doesn't do that, black can play a move like maybe even just this, or this move, or attach. Like there's a lot of moves here black could play, and yeah, it's not big right now, but it completely settles the right side. Whereas making this exchange first for white, you can see now black cannot make a base there. So there's a better connection between these stones. So black pincers, and then white jumps, and then black plays this move. The usual move is to play this one, because when white attaches, black is able to connect here, and this cut is usually pretty painful for black because it means white will get outside moves. But because of this stone black plays, black can capture. So usually they play here. But black goes here, so black's playing a little bit faster, kind of saying, white, I'm gonna give up a stronger attack on you as long as I can take the left side, right? Notice, as opposed to being here, black gets ahead of white, right? It's a little bit faster, but that means white's a little bit stronger, which means these stones are a little bit weaker, right? If black plays strongly here, that means these stones are weaker, these white stones are weaker, and these black stones are stronger because of that. So Can't say this is a bad move, but yeah. White jumps. Yeah. Helping this one stone. This stone here. Black jumps, of course. And like in a heartbeat, I would just jump as white. Do something here. But white goes here. Which this is actually a very good move, and we'll see why later. It looks slow, but not only is it solidifying cash here and taking away a black base, but it also has an effect on this corner, and we'll see that. But black disagrees, and black plays here first. I think this is a very good move. Now that white has spent this move, black's trying to ask, okay, white, are you going to like seal off even more? Right? Because once white plays here, the value of these stones has gone down a lot. Like if white went this way, black could go this way and ask white, are those stones valuable? But since white took this way, black can ask this way. White pushes and then cuts. This is a proper way to cut. We have a large knights here, right? This black stone and this black stone. And that's how you cut a knight's move, or a large knight's move. Now black caps. Keep in mind, if black had played this one, and I won't play all the other moves, I'll just notice if black tried to cap now, there's an obvious weakness. So this is because the other move that black played was faster. Oops. I'm not on the main branch. Okay, there we go. Because this move is faster, black's able to play a little bit faster. And so like right now I'm still like, okay, I'm getting surrounded. You know, as white I'd be like, I'm getting surrounded, I need to add a move. However, FineArt of course plays the biggest move on the board, 3-3. And black goes this way. I kind of want to go this way, even though it's considered not so great anymore because white can go down like this. That left side looks pretty nice, even if black just comes down like this. Black is maybe worried about these stones up top, but this is pretty huge on the left. But can't say this is terrible either, because black's taking points on the top as opposed to points on the left. And then they play a very... FineArt plays a very human Joseki. I don't see FineArt play this Joseki a lot. So it's interesting that it, you know, even though it never plays this Joseki, it still knows it, right? That must mean that we humans got this Joseki correct. So yes. And then, of course, black now seals white in. And this is at the beginning when I said there's something very strange comes up in the game is look at this bottom left. Look at those 3 white stones. Any amateur, even some professionals, might be like, oh, how am I going to get out of this situation? But the Sabaki Master FineArt, as you're about to see, this is very similar to a situation that came up in the first FineArt review that I did. It was against Cho Hee-yeon. Again, check it out if you're interested. It has another crazy Sabaki sequence craziness in it. But yeah, so look at these stones, like, wow. Black probably doesn't want to play a move like this because black would be like, this probably doesn't feel good enough because black would only be taking like up to here, but black wanted to squeeze out every point, right? So now black's saying I want, what is that, a 9x8 box of territory? So that's 72 points. And, you know, if black can get that, that would be a lot, right? It'd be enough to win the game, but let's see if black can do it. Peep. And then black blocks here. If black just connected, white would get the second peep. And then black needs to connect again. And then white can descend, and white's already basically alive. Just like that. Black can't go this way because of this exchange. White's able to cut, and we can see that this move right here, this one right here that white played, this diagonal, it helps a lot in the life and death here. So black plays here, white covers, and then black blocks. And then white plays here, which is again the reason why this move is so important. Like if black descends, white can attach, and it would be, yeah, white can just Atari this way. And you can see, even though black can Atari here, these stones here are in a ton of trouble. Plus, these stones up here are in a ton of trouble. So that wouldn't be good for black. So white's already connected this way, so black needs to disconnect white. And white still doesn't have two eyes, so black's playing very strongly here. But white bumps. And again, black pulls back, because playing here, we can see that there's an obvious like Atari here. So because this move would be forcing, these two stones are weaker, so white would be able to get more forcing moves on the inside. So to limit the forcing moves, black just gives up a little bit, because even though white can go here, white's not getting any eye space. If anything, it's expanding. Like if black's able to, like let's assume white lives, I don't know, if black's able to get this move, because white has pushed black a little bit, you know, this is more solid territory. So this is a very mature move, I like to say. I think white goes here. Yeah, white still hanes. And then attaches. And so remember, all the way back when black played this move, and as opposed to this move, the difference, this one line difference, you'll see has a huge effect on the life and death. Huge effect. Because now when white attaches, white can attach here, and when white peeps black and black tries to go here, notice black cannot capture this stone and a ladder. In this case, what white would do actually isn't cut, but white would actually hane here. And if black blocks, white would block. Oops. And then descend. And if black just descends down, white can come here. And black would lose this semi-eye. White hanes. Atari. 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 Black would lose the semi-eye. So black can't descend. So black needs to either Atari here, which would be a ko. And white has a ton of ko threats out this way. Or connect. And in this case, white's already alive. Because if black hanes and then comes down, white has one eye in the corner. And has a potential eye here. So if black blocks, to get rid of this eye, white can connect here. And white actually has an eye here. White wouldn't play this way, but we can see that white definitely has an eye right there. So if black takes out that eye, white can live here. So yeah, because of this peep and then hane, black descends a little bit. Same philosophy as this move, or same idea as this move, reducing the forcing moves. But white can hane, Atari, and then connects. So white has an eye here and threatening an eye on the bottom. So black Ataris. White pushes and then blocks, threatening to make two eyes if white can go right there, right? Like, could make two eyes this way. So the question is, can black just jump in and kill? It would be pretty dangerous, and that's because white can push in here. Or maybe white would do this first and then push. And we can see there's two cuts here. And it would be pretty risky for black to do it this way. So because of all these cuts, and it would be pretty complicated and it would be hard to read in even though these time settings are like 1 minute main time and 10 60-second byoyomis. Like, it would be pretty hard to read all this. So black, instead of trying to read this directly, black hanes here once to see how white responds, and then peeps. So this is a very good move because it's preventing that sequence I just showed. So now black peeps. But white can make a ko. White can still make a ko to make a second eye. It is a 2-step ko, but it's still a ko nonetheless. And white has so many ko threats here. White pushes. Black pushes down, take, and then white cuts here. So black shape here. Even though, again, we go all the way back. It's like black's... Like, this looks like, to me, the Fortress of Solitude. Like, this looks so strong. When it came down to the ko, like, black shape here is actually... White has so many ko threats. Push, cut. Black needs to connect on this side, because black going here, actually... Now this ko doesn't even matter, because white can cut. Atari. Atari. And then can even Atari here. See, that wouldn't be good. So black needs to connect on this side. But the issue with that is now you can see when white wins the ko, like if white ignored, you can see white can now take the entire corner, which is a pretty huge corner. But white doesn't take, because white knows white has so many threats. Take, come down, squeezing out, loses, I think it loses a couple points, but black needs all the ko threats he can get. Cut, Atari, plays this, look at this move, wow, look at this ko threat. This is a great ko threat, so good. Like if black takes, white would Atari, and then descend, and we can see white is threatening to capture these stones in a ladder, but also directly capture these stones. So if black saves here, white can Atari. You can see can capture these stones. If black saves these stones, though, white can cut here. So black needs to answer this. This is a very fancy move. I love this move. So black takes, of course. White takes Atari. So what's interesting here is, no, I guess that's, white can squeeze out 1 point here by playing this move, and the reason why is later if black gets this hane, white will need to add a stone. But if white goes here, notice when black hanes, white does not need to add a stone because black's already dead. By the way, this move is a snapback. Black cannot capture. However, this would give black more ko threats. So by going here, it's telling me that white is probably going to give up these stones, because white could have saved these stones, because black still gets a ton of ko threats. So black takes, white descends or Ataris, black plays here, and white ignores. So black captures this corner, but losing this corner is much bigger than losing this corner. The one effect this does have is white's not alive on the left, but white Ataris and then Ataris. It feels like black shape is worse here, but by descending, white would still get another forcing move, and even though black has a couple more points, white's already alive this way. Because white's shape is better, but by going here and connecting this way, you can see white's not alive yet. or white shape is much worse. So black shape is worse, but white shape is worse. But then white Ataris. So then black cuts. And then white extends up. So white is alive, actually, already. Because if black hanes, white can connect. And you can see black cannot take out this eye here. Yeah, so white's already alive. So black pokes through here. Pokes at this shape, trying to see. After this game is... Again, black spent so many moves, right, to take this corner. But not only has white taken a huge corner, but black really hasn't gotten much compensation. Black got this corner, but like if black cannot use this thickness here, this would be pretty bad for black. So black tries to attack white here, but white just hanes and Ataris. Black does make the ko shape here. Black pushes through. And then white just connects. And actually, at this point, black resigns. Probably realizes that it's too far behind. The loss in the lower left is too big. And can't really attack this right side white group very well. So at this point, black does resign. And I think black was... Like, if we go back to before the Sabaki sequence, all the way back here, like, when black capped here, like, I'm looking at this board and I'm like, wow, black's doing very well. Again, white's only points are the bottom right. Black has points in the upper right, points on the bottom left, or so I thought. The upper side looks good. Like, I really like black's position here, but somehow by the end of it, white takes this corner, white takes this side, and white actually has an attack on these black stones here. So FineArt's fighting skills are unparalleled, I guess. Yeah, so very good fighting by FineArt, very good Sabaki. And I think black, even though I don't know much about black, I can definitely tell black's a very strong fighter. Definitely knows how to use handicap stones, and is very good player. But yeah, if you have any questions about the game, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.